Hello, today I will be discussing what nurse retention is and how low nurse retention rates affects hospitals. What is nurse retention? Nurse retention is using strategies in order to keep nurses in their field or on the specific floor they were hired on. These strategies can be customized to each hospital depending on the specific needs of the hospital. Why is it important? Keeping nurse retention rates up is very important because if the retention rates are high, and the quality of care will be improved for the patients. As a result, the patient will feel more comfortable in the environment and feel like they are welcomed. Nurses will not be overworked too. When retention rates are low, the nurses will have to take on more patients during their shift than they might be used to. Once they start to take care of more patients, they will run out of energy a lot faster. And lastly, hospitals will not be understaffed. This goes along with the last reason because if nurses are not leaving, then the hospital will have more nurses to split up the number of patients to prevent nurses from being overworked. How do low retention rates affect hospitals? If a hospital has low retention rates, their staff will be overworked. Like previously mentioned, not having enough nurses causes the nurses to be overworked as the patient to nurse ratio increases. It will also be harder to hire more nurses once the retention rates become low. A perception will be put in place that the hospital may not be good to work at if nurses seeking employment find out retention rates are low at that specific hospital. Once that perception is in place, nurses will base their opinions off of it. If nurses are leaving, then the staff that stays will more likely leave as well. This will most likely be due to them being overworked since there will be less nurses than needed to work. The quality of patient care will also decrease as a result because if they are understaffed, then nurses will not have the same amount of time to spend on each patient. Why are retention rates so low? Nurses often can receive poor treatment from other staff members. This includes doctors and even their supervisors. If the communication is lacking between doctors and nurses, issues can arise from this. Not enough education for new nurses can also affect how long they will have to stay in their jobs. New nurses are feeling overwhelmed when going into their new jobs because they feel they have not been given enough education to adequately complete their job. Low pay. This is not an easy fix because the hospital needs to make money to pay their workers. They cannot control how much money they make, so it can be harder to give higher pay to nurses. Not enough feedback from supervisors. Nurses often feel they don't receive enough feedback from supervisors that is positive. They normally only hear back from them if they did something wrong. Solutions to prevent low nurse retention rates. Having hospitals staff take a survey to find their hospital-specific issues. The solution to this is not a one-size-fits-all plan. It will need to be customized to each hospital based off of what feedback they receive from their staff. Ensure the hospital is fully staffed. If you ensure the hospital stays fully staffed, they can prevent nurses from being overworked. This cannot always happen, but if possible, it will help a lot. Talk with the supervisors and other doctors to improve communication between the two disciplines. Improving communication can help with the issue that can often arise between doctors and nurses in the workplace. Provide opportunity for increased education within the hospital. By having education opportunities, nurses that feel they do not receive enough education can take advantage of these classes to improve on their education.